Hello to other Form 5 students. Today I would like to reteach the equal matrix. So first step, we check the row. So it seems like they are having number of rows as I highlighted in green color. So example, the G we have 3 rows, and for H we have 3 rows. And for number of columns for the matrix, I highlighted in blue color. So the A is having 2 columns, and the B is 2 columns, and the C is 2 columns, and the D is just 1 column. And then for this one is 2 columns, and then this one also 2 columns. For the G we have 2 columns, and for the H we also have 2 columns. So the number of order is actually row by column. So for A we have 2 by 2, for B we have 2 by 2. So in order to determine whether both matrices are equal matrix or not, we must check the order of the matrix. If they are having the same order, that means that is the first condition. Then we have to check the corresponding element. If the corresponding element is equal, then they are actually equal matrix. So we can say that matrix A is equal to matrix B. And then how about the C and D? They are having same order or not? No, they do not have the same order, because for matrix C you are having 1 by 2, and for matrix D you are having 2 by 1. So the order of the matrix C and D are not the same. So in this case, we can see that matrix C is having the order of 1 by 2, and matrix D is having the order 2 by 1, right? 2 row and 1 column. So they are not having the same order, so they are not equal matrix. Okay, then for matrix C is not equal to matrix D. And then for the next one, we will see the order looks like the same for E and F, right? They are having 2 by 2, they are having the same order. But if you check the corresponding elements for the matrix, it seems like they are not the same. You see the 3 and -7 and -7, and the other one are not equal. So this is not equal matrix, right? So for D, let's check through. Okay, before that we have to explain why it is not equal matrix for C, because of due to corresponding elements are not the same. And then for D, it seems like we are having 3 rows and 2 columns for H, right? Okay, let's check through. They're having the same order, and then it seems like all the corresponding elements are equal. So we can say that matrix G is equal to matrix H. So you can just write G equal to H will do. And then equal matrix is actually the basic concept is the order must be the same, and corresponding elements for each element must be the same. Let's see this example. We have P and the Q, and is having the equal matrix. So the question say this P is equal to Q. It means they are equal matrix. It means that the corresponding elements for the both matrix should be equal, right? So that means we can say that X is equal to 5, and then 7 should be equal to y plus 1. And from there we can actually just compare and solve. So 7 is equal to y plus 1, and then we can solve the y. So the y is 7 minus 1, which is actually 6. Okay, and then we have 5 minus 3z should be equal to 2z. So we can say that 5 minus 3z is equal to 2z. So we can say that this 5 is equal to 5z. So the z should be equal to 1 is 5 over 5. Right, so that is how we solve the unknown by using the concept of the equal matrix. So we have discussed this example. Let's do the practice 2.1c. So determine whether the following pairs of matrix is equal. So for A, is having the 2 by 1, the order, right? And then for the B, it seems like they're having 2 by 2, right? And for C is 2 row and 1 column, and 1 row and 2 columns. So for C, the order are not the same. So for A is equal matrix, for B also equal matrix. But for C, it is not equal matrix because the number of order for the matrix are not equal, because do not have the same order. So we can say that they are not equal matrix. And then for D, it seems like they are having the same order, but they are not equal matrix due to their corresponding elements are not equal. Right, so for D we say that they are not equal matrix. Okay, so this is exercise practice 2.1c, and you need to do in the exercise book. Okay, so you need to check carefully all the elements in the corresponding elements for each of the matrix. Example, the D, you can see the 9 and 8, they are not equal. Okay, and even though we can see 0 is equal to 0 and 8 is not equal to 9. Okay, so this is not the equal matrix. Right, so equal matrix actually is quite easy compared to more complicated operation of the matrix. Now let's see this question. You're given that P equal to Q, and you're asking to calculate the X, Y, and Z. So as you can see, if both matrices are equal matrix, then the AX should be equal to 6, right? And you can solve the unknown easily. So by just comparing, you can solve the X easily, and you can solve the Y easily, right? So the X is equal to 6, and the Y should be equal to 2. Obviously, you can see the one I highlighted in blue color. So the Y should be equal to 2. So it's quite simple for the equal matrix. And finally, the 2z minus 3 should be equal to negative 2, right? And hence, you can solve the z, right? So 2z is equal to negative 2 plus 3. So z is 1 over 2. Alright? So that is how you solve the unknown by using the concept of the equal matrix. So for matrix P, again we actually equate the corresponding element. So the 10 should be equal to 5x. In other words, 5x is equal to 10. That means x is equal to 2. And then 6y plus 5 should be equal to 2y minus 9. Right? So we can say that 6y plus 5 is equal to 2y minus 9. And we can actually solve the y by simplify. So that means 4y equal to 6y minus 2 is 4y. And then negative 14, so we can solve it, the y. And z can be solved by using 3z plus 4 equal to negative 4x. So because we have obtained the value of x just now, x is equal to 2, so hence we can solve the values of z by writing 3z plus 4 is equal to negative 4 times 2, right? So finally we can solve the values of z. So we have 3z equal to negative 12, and then hence z is equal to negative 4. Alright, so we have actually discussed problem involving equal matrix. Now I would like to proceed to another subtopic, which is multiplication of the matrix by a number. Let's say we multiply by 3, so for every element you need to multiply by 3. If we multiply by negative half, that means every element we have to multiply by negative half. So we have 5 over 2, we have negative half times 4, which is negative 2. We have negative 2 times 2, negative 1. We have negative half times 1. And then for this example, we have to multiply by 3. After we expand, it becomes 3p minus 3q. It means that we have to multiply by 3 for all the elements for matrix P and then for matrix Q. So we have 3 times 7 minus 3 times 2, and then we solve it carefully. Then we'll get the answer, which is 15, 36, negative 12, 9, 18, 24. Or in short, we can actually minus the matrix first, then only we times with a 3. We for sure will get the same answer. Alright, it's the same. Finally, we have to make sure we multiply by 3 for all the elements in the matrix, right? Okay, this is actually multiplication of the matrix by a number. So remember, you have to multiply the number with all the corresponding elements. So let's see this example. You are given 1 over 2, 4 minus x equal to 5. You can just compare like this. So that means 2 minus 5 equal to x. X is negative 3. And 1 over 2 times 12 minus negative 3 equal to y. So you need to be very careful when you do the operation for matrix. So let's see B. You're given the matrix 4R, right, plus the matrix equal to the other matrix. So you can bring the matrix at the left to the right to be minus. Then you minus carefully 1 by 1 before you divide by 4. So the last step is divide by 4. You can write as 1 over 4. So it seems like the matrix is actually 1 over 4 times with the matrix. So in short, you have to take 1 over 4 multiplied by every corresponding element. Now let's proceed to another question. So the average number of vehicles per day in a parking area for 5 working days is represented in table X and Y. So table Y represents the average number of vehicles per day on weekend. So calculate the number of vehicles parked at the parking area in a week. So calculate the number of vehicles parked at the parking area in a week. We have to take the number of vehicles parked in 5 working days plus the days during weekends. So let's see how to do for 5 working days. That means we will have to take the 5 multiplied by the matrix, which is a vehicle parked in working days, and then for weekends we have 2 days. We just got Saturday and Sunday are the weekends. So let's solve it. We are going to times 5 for all the elements for the matrix for the working days, plus we are going to times 2 for the matrix representing weekends, which is in green color. So let's write down carefully. So we're going to take 5 times with the 42 and 8 and 20 and 11, right? And we are plus with the 2 times with the matrix 25, 5, 12 and 3. Alright, so now it seems like we have to multiply carefully one by one, and then we have to plus. Okay, it's 5 times 42 plus 2 times 25, and then for the next one is 5 times 8 plus 2 times 5, followed by 5 times 20. So we got the answer for 50 just now. And for 5 times 20 plus the 2 times 12, we have the 1, 2, 4, and finally we will take 5 times 11 plus the 2 times 3, right? So we will get the answer, which is, you can plug into your calculator, which is 61. So this is actually involving multiplication by a number for the matrix. Alright, so then we will discuss a few questions for the exercise. I'm sure everyone got no problem to do the matrices. It's quite easy, right? So this exercise you need to do in your book B, right? Self practice 2.2. So you have to multiply with the number one by one carefully for each of the matrix given here. Alright, so I'm sure everyone got no problem. Okay, so let's go through. You have 3 times -7 and 3 times 2, so you have -21 and 6, right? 3 times 2, so answer is 6. Alright, so let's discuss 1b. We will take 0.6 times 11. So you can press your calculator, 0.6 times 11, so you will get 6.6, and 0.6 times 5, and you will get answer is 3, right? And then for C, you will take 1/4 multiplied by 12, right? One by one, you will have to multiply all the elements with 1/4. 1/4 times -20, so the answer is -5. And 1/4 times -6, you will get 3 over 2, and then 1 over 4 times 16, you will get answer which is 4. Alright, and then 1 over 4 times 9, you get 9 over 4, and 1 over 4 times 9, so you get 9 over 4, right? And finally 1 over 4 times 1, so you get 1 over 4. So that is how you multiply the matrix by a number. So the same go to the rest of the question. So negative 2 times 0.4, you will get negative 0.8. So make sure you multiply carefully, especially when there is negative. Negative 2 times with the number, so we will get negative 16. Negative 2 times 8. Negative 2 times negative 9, we get 18. And then negative 2 times 2.5, we get negative 5. Right, so always double check, because all the number and value are very important when it comes to business. Okay, these are involving quantity or maybe the value, the money. So we need to be very careful. So the rest of the question are the same. You have to take the number multiplied by the elements one by one, and after you multiply, make sure you double check again so that there won't be any careless mistake. Alright, so for the product of the matrix by a number is quite simple. So I'm sure you got no problem if you are careful enough. So just do it carefully and double check, right? Okay, so for the last question, we will actually do the same. We will take the number which is actually the fraction, right? We multiply by the element in the matrix, which is 100. So negative 1 over 20 times 100, you get the answer negative 50, right? And negative 1 over 20 times 90, you get 4.5 with a negative. Okay, when there is a negative, you need to be very careful. And negative 1 over 20 times the number inside the matrix, so always double check before you complete your exercise. Okay, so we have completed the discussing of the exercise, so please always be careful. So now we are going to solve the following operations. So when come to solving the matrix involving plus and minus, we must do it carefully again. So let's see how to do this one. We are going to do one by one. We multiply the 5 one by one into elements of the matrix, then only we plus or minus. So for A, basically you have to times a 5 with a 1 plus, okay, 1 times 7 plus 1 over 2 times 10. You can press your calculator. 5 times 1 plus 7 minus 1 over 2 times 10. Okay, the same go to the yellow one. 5 times 2 plus 4 times 5 minus 1 over 2 times 2. So the answer is, after you use a calculator, you can get the answer 14, and always double check. Now is second row is 5 times 3 plus 1 times 6 minus 1 over 2 times 9. So the answer is 16.5, right? And followed by 5 times negative 1 plus 1 minus 1 over 2 times negative 4. So be very careful because it involves negative. So the answer is negative 2. And then the last row is 5 times 0, okay, plus negative 1 minus 1 over 2 times negative 6. Always use a highlighter, highlight, okay, you highlight the color, then you will focus. And then we have 5 times negative 4 plus 8 minus 1 over 2 times 14. So the answer will be, okay, you can double check twice using calculator. So negative 19. So this is the answer for question A. Alright. So most important is careful because it's very easy. So we need to be very careful. Okay. So let's see B. For B, we will do the same like just now. 6 times negative 1 minus 0.5 times 8 minus 2 times 1. Okay, so you press your calculator, you get the answer which is negative 12, followed by 6 times 4 minus 0.5 times 14 minus 2 times negative 3. So the answer is 23. Alright. Okay, so we have solved B. Let's proceed to C. The same. C, we will highlight the 7 times the 3 minus 1 over 3 times 21, right? That's 1 over 3 times 21, so we get 14, followed by 7 times negative 2 minus 1 over 2 times 6. So we'll get the sum, okay, for the operation of multiplication and minus and plus. Lastly, finally, is 7 times 1 minus 1 over 2 times negative 9. So the answer is, we get the answer which is, okay, the answer is there, so you double check, make sure the answer is perfect. Okay, let's proceed to the last question. Is 0.2 times 10 plus 1 over 5 times 5, right? Okay, so we use a highlighter, highlight row by row, okay, so we won't get mistake. So negative 0.2 times negative 25 plus 1 over 5 times 20, right? So we'll get the answer. Alright, so let's proceed to the rest. Is actually 0.2 times 6 plus 1 over 5 times negative 5. Okay, so lastly, finally is 0.2 times 8 plus 1 over 5 times 25. So the answer will be, okay, after you sum up, you get the answer which is, okay, always double check, make sure there is no careless mistake. So I have discussed the solving problem involving the multiplication of the matrix by a number. So let's see number 3. Given the matrix E is equal to 9, 6, 2, 11, and matrix F is negative 7, 22, 3, 4, and matrix G is negative 1, 10, negative 8, and 5. So show that E plus F plus G is equal to E plus bracket F plus G. So now let's do it together. We have the E plus F plus G. So E plus F with the bracket, so we'll do the one with the bracket. E is 9, 6, 2, 11, and F is negative 7, 22, 3, 4. So we're going to add these two matrices first, alright, and then plus the G, okay? Right, so we do the one in the bracket first. So now let's focus to the E and F. So we will just take 9 minus 7. We will get 2, right? Because 9 plus negative 7. It means 9 minus 7. So it's 2. And 6 plus 22. So it's 28. Alright, so 2 plus negative 7. It means 2 minus 2 plus 3. It means 2 is going to plus the 3. So we get 5. And then we have 2 plus 4, right? Focus so that we won't see the wrong row or column. 2 plus. Okay, so now we will try to solve it. So we have 11 plus 4, 15. And after we solve it, we will actually add the two matrix, which is 2 plus negative 1, which is 1. And 28 plus 10, we will have 38, right? And finally, the second row is 5 minus 8. You will get negative 3. And 15 plus 5, you will get 20, right? Okay, so that is how you plus the matrix. So we will get 20, 15 plus 5. So this is actually addition of matrix E plus F first, follow with plus the matrix G. Now we want to try whether they produce the same answer. If we use the E plus with the bracket F plus G. So we will give the one in bracket first. That means we will plus the F and G, followed by we will add with the E. So at the moment we just copy down the E and we will solve the one in the bracket first. So let's add together. Negative 7 minus 1. Negative 7 plus negative 1, it means negative 7 minus 1. So you will have answer negative 8, right? Negative 8. And then 22 plus 10, right? 22 plus 10 is 32, right? Okay, so we have 32. And 3 plus negative 8, we have negative 5. Alright, and 4 plus 5, we have 9. Okay, so we have negative 5 and 9 for 4 plus 5. Okay, always highlight so that you won't miss out the row or column. Okay, so now we are going to add the two matrix. Is equal to 9 minus 8, right, which is 1. It's the same like just now, right? We are also having 1. And 6 plus 32, we have 38. We also getting the same like just now. Okay, 6 plus 32, we get 38. And 2 plus negative 5, we will get negative 3, right, which is negative 3. And then 11 plus 9, we get 20, right? 20. So it's actually quite easy, right? It's just that you must be very, very careful. If you are careful, then you don't have to do so many times of correction. So finally, we have proved that E plus F with the bracket plus G is the same with E plus with the bracket F plus G. Alright, so we have shown the two operation of matrix, okay, are producing the same answer, right? They are the same answer. Okay, so for this question, given that matrix P is 1 over 2, negative 0.5, and matrix Q is 4, negative 5, and matrix O is 0, 0. So calculate P minus 1.4Q plus matrix O. So in order to do this question, we need to list down the matrix P, which is 1 over 2, negative 0.7, right? And we have to list down the 1.4 times the matrix 4 and negative 5 and the matrix 0, 0. Okay, so the most important is you must multiply the matrix Q with negative 1.4. Okay, so we are going to list down the matrix accordingly to the question. Okay, so let's do it now. Okay, let's list down the matrix like this. 1 over 2, negative 0.7. Okay, and then minus 1.4 times with the matrix Q and the 0, 0 for the matrix O. And then we will try to sum up. We do the operation of minus and plus for this matrix, right? So we take 1 over 2, we highlight 1 over 2, minus 1.4 times 4 plus 0. Okay, so you can always use your calculator to find the answer. Okay, so most important, the answer must be accurate. But I think some of you prefer to use your own brain to calculate. That's very good. Negative 0.7 times negative 1.4, be careful. Okay, so you need to be very careful because negative 1.4 times negative 5 will give positive answer. So finally the answer is given there. So always double check your answer before you proceed to the next question. Alright? Okay, so let's proceed to the next one, which is actually find the value of A, B, and C. So for this question, we have to solve the equation of the matrix involving minus, right? So basically when you do this question, you always use your highlighter again, highlight carefully and do it carefully. I'm sure you will get the answer. So it's 4 times 2 minus negative 4 is equal to 3 over 5 times A, right? Okay, so we have solved one. If you solve carefully, I'm sure you will get the answer for the A. So it's 4 times 2 is 8, 8 plus 4, you have 12, right? 12, you have to simplify, okay? And then you have to divide by 3 over 5. Or you can say that you times 5 over 3. So the A is actually 3, and then 12 you cancel out, 4 is 20, right? So the A is 20. So make sure you double check the step so that you won't get the wrong answer. So the answer for A is 20. Okay, understand? Now let's solve the B. Where is the B? So we are focused to the row where the B and where is the position of the B. So if I look at that, I can see I will take the 4 times the B minus 0.1 and is equal to 3 over 5 times 1.5. But if we want to solve the C first, so let's solve the C first. 4 times negative 5 minus C equal to 3 over 5 times negative 35, right? It must be follow the, we so-called as the position of the element. So it's negative 20 minus C is equal to negative 21. So we will solve it, we get the answer for the C. So finally, we will do for the rest for the B. Okay, so it's actually for the B we have actually discussed just now is 4 times B minus 0.1, right? 4 times B minus 0.1 is equal to 3 over 5 times 1.5. Alright, so the answer that you solve will be the answer for the B. so you need to solve it carefully. Okay, so we always bring the number which is negative to the right before we divide by 4. So the answer for B is, you can actually solve it, is actually 0.9 plus 0.1 is 1.0, so it's 1/4, right? 1/4 for the answer B. So we have solved the operation on matrices. So now let's discuss one more question, is the application. So number 6, given that negative 10, 9 minus 2x plus 5 times with the matrix 2, 1 is 3, 8. So we are going to solve this x. So let's see how to do. The x is actually a matrix, so it should be the same order, right? Because if you want to plus or you want to minus the matrix, you must have the same order, right? So let's solve it now. So we have the matrix x that we need to solve. So let's do it carefully. So normally when we see there is a matrix, we highlight first. So this matrix and is negative 10 and 9, and another matrix is 5 times 2 and 1, so it's 10 and 5 is equal to the matrix given. So let's focus to the matrix given and we solve it first. So I'm going to shift all the matrix to the left. So negative 10, 9 plus 5 to 1 minus 3, 8. Then the negative 2x I bring to the right, which is 2 times matrix x. Okay, now I will solve the 3 matrix at the left so that I can get the answer, and I will have to divide by 1/2 for the matrix after I add all the 3 matrix. So now 1/2 times the 3 matrix, I have to plus. Okay, so now the answer for matrix x can be found if we simplify carefully. So let's see, we have negative 10 times 1/2 plus 5 times 2 minus 3. Okay, be careful, 5 times 2 and minus 3. So then we will write down the answer first, which is equivalent to negative 3/2. Then for another element, we will take 1/2 times with the 9 plus 5 times with the 2, 5 times with the 1 minus 8. So the answer will be, so we just do it carefully and double check. 1/2 times the 9 plus 5 times 1 minus 8, you'll get 3 for matrix x. Okay, so that's how you solve the matrix x. Alright, so we have actually reached the last question, the final question. So for the last question, the shoe shop owned by Inche Jamal sells adult and children's shoes, and the table 1 shows the stock for each type of shoes at the beginning of the week. Or table 2 shows the sales of each type of shoes of that week. So calculate the closing inventory of each type of shoes at the end of the week. Show your calculation in the form of matrix. So let's highlight row and column. It looks like it's 2 by 2. We can convert the table into matrix as I mentioned earlier. Matrix is representing a table. So we have 8570, 11098, and we have 332442 and 40. So we are going to calculate the balance of the stock, right? So we need to minus. So we will take 85 minus 33 for the adult, okay? And then we will take 85 and we minus out 33. We will get the answer, which is, alright, so this is a simple calculation, 52. And 70 minus 24, we will get the answer, which is Okay, so you take 70 minus 24, so you get 46. And 110 minus 42, you will get the answer, which is 68. And then 98 minus 40, you will get answer, which is equivalent to 58. So this is actually the closing inventory for each type of shoes at the end of the week. So you need to show the proper working of the calculation for the two metrics. So that's all my discussion for the math tutorial class. So I really hope that you will enjoy doing matrices because it seems like very easy, right? Okay, till then, bye bye and have a nice day.